Contain everything you need to deliver accurate, consistent, and contextualized data for your business wherever and whenever it's needed. And the things that we have been focusing on for this suite are an enhanced customer user experience to provide a seamless experience across every function friendly to both business and technical users. Intelligence and automation to streamline and accelerate workflows, connectivity, and interoperability with our customers. Technology ecosystems, meaning that we go where the data is. And finally, a core foundation of suite service capabilities to ensure optimal efficiency, performance, and security. Now, data integration is used to break down silos by quickly building data pipelines. Data observability proactively uncovers data anomalies and act before they become costly downstream issues. Data governance manages data policy and processes with greater insight into your data's meaning, lineage, and impact. Now, data quality ensures data delivery that's accurate, consistent, and fit for purpose across operational and analytical systems. Geo-addressing, as we saw, is used to verify standard and standardized geocode addresses, spatial analytics to drive and visualize spatial relationships hidden in your data, and finally, to complete the horizontal line here, data enrichment, to enrich your business data with expertly curated datasets. And remediating data quality issues and ensuring accurate and consistent data within your ecosystem is paramount. You can't build trust without quality data. There's no guessing in all these capabilities. They essentially need to work seamlessly together to impact the life cycle of data from preparation to observation to remediation. Now, our APIs help you to perform all these functions, vary identities, locate interests, and enrich all your location data without you worrying about the maintenance and update operations. We'll discuss some of the many APIs that Precisely has to offer in further slides. Starting with Geocoding API, which converts individual or collection of addresses to location coordinates and vice versa, which is reverse geocoding. The Geocoding API returns latitude and longitude coordinates with the input of an address or Precisely ID and vice versa. It's useful for enhancing and enriching your customer addresses. This functionality is fundamental for customers for various applications, including mapping, navigation, spatial analysis, and location-based services. Now, if we have a look at how this API works, so we have an entire data integrity suite APIs collection, and this is the Postman collection that we have to offer. To access this API, you first need to generate an authentication token. And to generate this token, you need to log into our portal and get your credentials, which is API key and API secret. And once you hit on the send button, it'll generate an access token for you. And this access token is set to expire in 60 minutes, so you'll have to regenerate token every 60 minutes. It's for security purpose. And once you have your access token ready, you can access any of our DIS APIs with this token. Now, if I start with Geocoding API, as I said, it'll take an address as an input, and country is a mandatory field. We have different custom preferences, which you can use based on your requirements. And once I hit on the send button, here you can see that it has the geocoded information about the input address. It'll give you the formatted street address, formatted location address, the address number, country information, state information, county, city, postal code, etc. The main thing in our geocoding API that will come back with location coordinates, that is longitude and latitude. So along with this, it will also give you additional custom fields, like whether the input address is residential or business. It'll give you the PB key, which is a unique identifier for an address, which I talked about in the previous slides. Then it'll give you information about census block ID. It'll give you information about whether this address is deliverable or not. And it'll also give you something called precision code. So this precision codes helps you to identify how different is the input address from the output address that we matched. So if you see here that this address was missing a postal code, that means here it indicates that the postal code is missing. So each character in this precision code basically helps you to determine which of the attributes in the input fields are missing that Precisely added. Now, if we move to the next API, that is the address verification API. So address verification is a critical component for ensuring the accuracy and reliability of address data in various applications. from e-commerce and logistics to financial services and government databases. Our API eliminate errors in address data, improve customer experience. The address verification API makes communication easier, faster, and effortlessly by enriching customer details, keeping it up to date, and maintaining its accuracy and consistency. It eliminates redundancy in reaching out to customers and makes it easy for distinct functional areas to work seamlessly in improving customer relationships. Now, if we have a look at our address verification API, so this API will also take the input address as the input. And once you hit on the send button, it will verify the address for you. Moving to the next API, which is address autocomplete. Using an autocomplete address API can significantly enhance user experience and data accuracy in applications that requires address input. So autocomplete functionality helps users by providing address suggestions as they type, reducing errors and speeding up the input process. It is useful for any local search, checkout, shipping, or billing experiences on your website. Now, if we have a look at our autocomplete API, so basically here I'm just entering address number and the street name in the input address. And if I hit on the send button, it'll basically give me a list of all addresses that has this address number and the street name. So here you can see that we got two suggestions. Now, so we have something called expanded range unit. So this is used in case when you want the unit numbers two in the suggestions along with the main address. So now if I hit on the send button after turning on the expanded range unit custom preference, you can see that within this first 2001 North Beverly Plaza Long Beach apartment, it is a multi-unit apartment. So that's why it will give you all suggestions along with the unit names and not just main address line. This is some of our features of our autocomplete API. Moving to the next API, that is a Geotax API. So using our Geotax API, you can integrate tax rates into your billing, commerce, payments, and payroll applications, business processes, and workflows. The tax API returns local tax rates with the input of location coordinates or address, which is critical for any billing, commerce, payment, or payroll applications or services. So as I said that this tax API, I have entered an address, and when I hit on the send button, it will come with all the tax related information. So this includes jurisdiction information. This includes information about sales tax, use tax that you can use for your businesses. Moving to the next API, that is email verification API. The email verification API corrects and validates your email addresses to protect your database from invalid, toxic, and undesirable email addresses. We help you avoid a damaged sender reputations by flagging those bouncing emails, spam trap hits, honeypots, stale lists, and do not contact lists before you have a chance to use them. The validate email address service takes an email address and determines if it's valid or not. It can fix common typographical errors to return a valid email address. It also identifies problematic email addresses. So if we take a look at our email verification API, and here you can see that I've entered an email address, and if I hit on the send button, because it's not a valid email address, it says invalid and that it's not deliverable. Now, if I enter a valid email address, it'll validate the email address for you and say if it's deliverable or not. Moving to the next API, which is our time zone API, the time zone API returns zones and UTC offsets with the input of a location coordinate or an address. It's useful for logistics and customer engagement applications, business processes, and workflows. Now, if we take a look at our time zone API, so you can enter the time, you can get the time zone by either address or location coordinates. Here you can see that I've entered an address and a time UTC timestamp. So you will get information about the time zone for this address. It will give you the time zone, UTC offset, DST offset, and the address, matched address information.